Hey guys, today I'm filming a chit chat get ready with me using all of the items from my summer project pan. I'm very excited for this video because I didn't get to film one for my spring project pan. I waited too long and I'd already finished up some of the products. I'm filming this on June 16th, but I've been wearing this look for 2 full weeks now and I know what other products I like to pair with the items in my project pan, and I've got some good opinions on them for sure. So I'm going to get started with my face products. So I actually have 3 primers I am using. 2 in my project pan, Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer and the Murad Oil Control Mattifier. I had been using the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Primer, which was not in my project pan, a little mini of that. I did just use it up on Friday. So I've moved on to the oldest in my collection, which is the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Complexion Primer, which will take me forever to get through, but I've already tried it with these other primers and it worked well. It didn't ball up or anything like that. I'm really surprised that all of these primers are working well and working well with all these other mattifying products, but they are. So I'm especially impressed with the Murad. This is the thing I thought I was gonna have the most trouble with, and it could be the moisturizer that I'm using, the Taupe water cream that works well with this. I'm not sure. So what I do first, because I cannot layer these primers over top of each other or else they will ball up, so I have to use them in specific areas. So I will do the Hourglass first, and these little deluxe sample sizes have this spatula, so I only put this primer on my cheeks, and a little goes a long way, so I just put that on my cheeks, and then whatever is left I'll just run it over the rest of my face. Then taking the Murad, this is going to last me forever. I don't even know if I'm going to finish it by the end of the project because I really need a small amount. And honestly, that was probably even too much. Yeah, that was definitely too much. Alright, so I'm going to plop some right here and right here. And I'm pressing it and then smoothing it over my skin. This isn't as tough to work with as the Becca Evermatte primer, where you cannot wipe it on your skin like that or it balls up, but this one does smell straight like glue, so I'm surprised I don't have issue with it, but I don't. My pore filling primer, and this one is a pretty thick one as well, so you don't need a ton. Like, it's a really thick consistency. Kind of looks like whipped yogurt. So I'm going to press this into my pores, and again, I thought this primer would ball up because it went right over top of that Murad, but it didn't. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm really happy that this Urban Decay primer works with them too, so that I can focus on using this for the rest of the summer. So now for foundation, the one in my project pan is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation in Snow, which is a little too dark for me and a little neutral tone. So I am mixing it with the Clinique Even Better Foundation in the shade CN.5 Shell. So I am going to do 1 full pump of this and then just like half a little squeeze of this on my Cosmo Cube mixing palette. So I'm not sure if you guys can see here the lighter color in the center and the darker color on the outside. So I just added a little bit of this because it's not super dark for me. Just mixing it together to get about my shade. And then just going to apply that on my face using a Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge. Just taking the angled side here, pressing this into my skin. For me, the Too Faced foundation does not give full coverage. It gives like a solid medium. I can still see a lot of my redness coming through and freckling. You guys can see I'm really breaking out right now. You guys should have already seen, or I already posted it, my life update video. I recently had a miscarriage, but you know, like the few signs of pregnancy that I was noticing, or not the signs of pregnancy, the side effects of pregnancy, is that I was really tired all the time and I was breaking out like crazy, and I haven't gotten them to go away yet, unfortunately. And they don't have like heads on them that I can pop them, they're just bumpy. but I do think that this foundation is evening out my skin nicely. I'm really happy I put it in this project because it's something that I've kind of gone back and forth on whether I actually really like it or not. Right now I'm really enjoying it because it's not making me look too dry, and I like the combination. We'll see when I use it up if I want to repurchase it, but I'm actually contemplating it in my proper shade, which is Swan, which is lighter and more yellow tone. So if I do repurchase, it'll be in that shade. I don't need to repurchase anytime soon. I would definitely wait till the Sephora fall VIB sale before I would buy it again, but I'd certainly think about it. Estee Lauder Double Wear Maximum Coverage Foundation in 1-in-1 Ivory Nude. I mentioned this in my 4,000 points Ulta haul, which I will have linked up in the cards. And I purchased this because Emily Noel has used this to cover up her melasma, which I can try up here. I don't know if you guys can see, I do have like a dark melasma spot. But I purchased this to build up the coverage on my cheeks, and I am going to take a little tiny dab and apply it with this Ulta Beauty Precision brush. I purchased this because of Makeup with Mariella. I absolutely love this brush, especially with this product. So I am literally going to squeeze up the smallest amount, dot it on my cheeks. I'm going to do one at a time so you can see the difference. So then taking this Ulta Beauty brush, and even though this is like a really full coverage product, it isn't super thick, and it's really quick and easy for me to blend in. So you guys can see like how well that covers. I don't even really need a blemish concealer when I use this. So here is with the Double Wear Maximum Cover, and without. You can see a lot more redness. You can see my blemishes without. So impressive. So this is a side that's going to be very impressive because this is where I have all the acne. So again, just squeezing up a very small amount. Like this is going to last me absolutely forever. They don't have as many colors in this foundation, and I have not yet used it all over, but it's not so heavy. It covers as well as Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation, but it doesn't feel as heavy, which is great. But this can be a little bit drying, so I don't know if this would be good for dry skin. And there's what this side looks like. So I actually can add a little bit more here to cover up my blemishes, but instead I'm just going to use my Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer in 1-in Extra Light, which is supposed to be a neutral undertone, but this looks very yellow on me, so I love the smell of this. It's like kind of like paint, but it smells better than MAC Studio Fix foundation, which was like way too intense for me. But seriously, the coverage of that really is amazing, and it doesn't feel too heavy on my skin. And then just blend that concealer out. Usually I like to leave it sitting for a little bit longer, but I feel like on top of these other products, it can dry down really quickly and then be hard to blend. But I really love this brush too. Alright, much better. Yes, I know this is a lot of makeup. This is what I like. Now, moving on to the under eyes. For corrector, I'm using this little mini of the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector in the light shade. I don't really need under eye correcting, but because I haven't, I'm going to use it. And I apply it with the Morphe E8 brush. Sometimes I do this before foundation. It just depends on whether I remember to or not. So luckily it's like the perfect size to get in there. And I think that this has a nice tone to it for my skin. It's not like that pigment. I mean, you can see a difference here, but that's because my under eyes aren't even that dark. But you can see that this is definitely brighter. My eye looks a little smaller for some reason, but this one definitely looks a lot darker around, so it does make a difference. And even though I have oily under eyes, I don't notice it messing up my concealer or making it crease or settle or fade or anything like that, but I do set my under eyes really well with powder. Like, this step is not essential for me, but I'll definitely use this up and if I get another one, I'll happily use it. So yeah, before this one, I was using the Tarte Creaseless Concealer, and I really have heard most people dislike it except for Emily Noel. And because I have oily under eyes, I was nervous about that one, but I had a little mini size that was, I think, in the shade light, so it was too dark for me, and it was a little on the peachy orangey side, so I used it as a corrector. That worked really well as well. It did have like a shiny look to it, but I put concealer on top and then I set it, and I had no troubles with it. So I do enjoy using a product like this. I just don't know that's necessary for me. Then for my concealer, I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape in Fair Neutral, which is my perfect color. Fair is too light for me. I can't wait for this to go on sale again. At Ulta. I think usually once or twice a year it'll go on sale like 40-50% off for one day only for just Platinum and Diamond members. But this is definitely my favorite concealer. I did recently purchase the e.l.f. one again, and in the light warm color, because previously I had Fair Warm and it was way too light. The light warm is a little dark because it does oxidize, so I'm going to have to use that with a mixer, which is, I mean, I have one, but that's kind of annoying. But I haven't used it a whole ton yet to see if I really think it's comparable to the Tarte, but I hope so, because Shape Tape is so expensive. A tube does last me like a year, so for me it is worth the money. I have not tried the Too Faced one yet. If you have oily skin, let me know if you've tried the Too Faced Full Coverage Concealer and which one you like better. I have noticed that with this current makeup routine, this concealer does set pretty quickly under my eyes, so I need to blend it out to make sure I can take it like all the way up to my lash line. Now to set my under eyes, I had been using the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Powder. I had a little mini. I did just use that up, so now I am using the Dermablend Translucent Loose Powder that I love so much. This one does give a white cast under my eye, which is why I cannot use the Shape Tape in Fair, but with Fair Neutral it works perfectly for me. So I'm just going to take a little in the cap, and I'm going to blend out any creases. Then taking the little mini eraser sponges from Real Techniques, I'm just going to set my under eye. And that's why I need to clean my sponges, because the powder can get a little clumpy. So you can see how much brighter this one is than this one. I don't know how people with dark complexion use this powder, because it always gives me a really white cast, but it is really pretty and brightening, so I don't mind it at all. It just depends on the shade of concealer. Don't let me forget this. I keep forgetting to use that. So then what I have in here is the Pretty Vulgar Loose Mattifying Powder, and this is a fine powder, but I can already tell you I'm not going to repurchase it because I cannot apply it with a damp beauty sponge, which is how I love to do my loose powders. Even when my sponge is freshly washed, it has not been used at all yet, the powder clumps up terribly in the sponge and on my face, and then I've got clumps of powder I can't really blend out well, and it drives me nuts. So I'm having to apply it with a brush, which I feel like I'm going through the powder so much more quickly because it's like in the air on your clothes. It's a mess. So the brush that I've been using is, of course, it has no name on it. It's from Japanese. I got this from TJ Maxx, and I do like this one, but just recently I started using it with the Morphe and Jeffree Star JS1 brush, and the powder doesn't like floof everywhere as much. But I will tell you, some days I've been going in with a little bit of Dermablend all over and then doing the Pretty Vulgar on top, but I'm just going to do the Pretty Vulgar. I just hate that I can't apply it with a damp sponge. I mean, it's a very finely milled powder. It mattifies pretty well, but I just hate that. So, and it's harder for me to make sure that like every inch of my face is set. I feel like I have to go over it more times. I feel like my powder is the thing I'm going to go through the quickest, which is why I definitely wanted to film this Get Ready With Me sooner rather than later. But you see that this brush is doing a good job. I really only have a little bit on my shirt, which is good, because with that other brush I had to put like a towel on my shirt. My last thing for my project pan is this little mini Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in the shade number 1. and I'm gonna use this to brighten under my eye. It's not super brightening. This like matches my skin tone pretty well, and if I remember, I'll use it to carve out my contour. I've honestly forgotten this on several days. I'm thinking about using it just on my eye primer, but it feels like a waste, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna apply it with the Morphe E48 brush. So just picked up a good amount there, and just pressing it under my eyes. I don't think I would use this to straight set my concealer because then it would darken too much. So I know I'm layering a lot of products, but y'all know I'm oily skin and I am not afraid of a little powder. So I think I've showed this before to you guys, but over the past couple months I've been contouring before bronzing. I used to do it opposite. So I am going to be using this Morphe M447 brush and my Milani Matte Baked Bronzer in Sienna. This was limited edition. This is a very like warm, slightly red tone color, but I even like it to contour because I don't follow the rules. I love this brush. It's so perfect for like applying it and then turn it sideways to help blend it out. I haven't tried the new Milani matte bronzers because I don't need any more, but I know the formula is super different because it's not baked. I'm probably going to go over this a little bit with the powder brush because that looks a little intense. Troubles of being fair. Oh my gosh, I need to dye my hair so bad. Alright, so then for bronzer, this is an item from my project pan. It's the Milani Matte Baked Bronzer in Sunset. I'm trying to hit pan on this, which I think will definitely be a challenge. I'm applying with my e.l.f. stippling brush. Amazing for fair skin. If you have fair skin and you're wanting to apply bronzer, a stippling brush is the way to go, or no matter what your skin tone is, if you're wanting like a light layer, it works so well. And I love the e.l.f. stippling brush. It's not too flimsy or too dense for me. Whew, that is looking really orange. Oh my gosh. I feel like I look crazy. I have never had trouble with this bronzer. Oh my gosh. Have I just always been looking like a crazy person? This is very sad to me. Y'all, I look nuts. Oh my gosh. Help, help. So the blush, I've just been using whatever, but today I'm going to use Benefit California, which is a really pretty satin finish coral blush, and I'm applying it with my Morphe E4, just an angled blush brush. And this is one of those big Gelée formulas, so I feel like I need a little bit more of a dense brush to help pick up the product. And you all know I'm not afraid of a blush. So lastly, for the highlighter, one of my favorites for summer is the Anastasia Amrezy. I haven't started using that one yet because I have more highlights in my collection that I want to use, and I have no color yet to really be able to use that one. So right now I'm using the Urban Decay Afterglow Highlighter in Sin. This is really pretty, and it is a champagne, but it has a bit of like a darker base to it. I'm applying it with the Morphe Jeffree Star JS4 brush. Oh yeah, you can see it. I just really like this shade on my skin tone. I purchased this from TJ Maxx for like $8, $10, something like that. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay. Feeling good about that. Again, I know my bronzer looks insane. I'm still feeling very self-conscious, so please don't leave me any comments. I'm glad I'm not filming another video after this because I would have so many comments. So, again, y'all, you're hearing me talk about it. You see it. It's a mess. God help me. Then my last face product is the ColourPop All-Star Makeup Setting Spray. So I hate getting my shirt wet, so here we go. Always, I mean, I don't need to shake this one up. I just shake up all my setting sprays, and I feel like this does mist pretty well. It has a nice like fruity scent, like juicy fruit. Alright, so first I'm going to take my Sonia Kashuk spoolie brush and just get my brow hairs all going the same direction. ate some popcorn earlier. It feels stuck on my teeth. Then I'm going to start using my NYX Eyebrow Shaper Wax Pencil. So I just start by lightly running this through my brows. And I've tried a couple times just going straight in with a pencil and no brow wax, and I don't like it as well. Then the item in my project pan is the Maybelline Total Temptation Brow Pencil in a blonde shade. I absolutely love this. It is very creamy. It's like the thicker angled brow pencil. I definitely will repurchase this. So I used to use like the micro pencil to line my brows and then use this to just fill it in, but now what I've been doing is just using the micro brow for the front of my brows to draw it on and then filling in the rest of it with this, which works really well because this isn't too fat. So sorry if I'm not looking right at you, I'm looking in my mirror to make sure I don't get too crazy. And my brows always look intense. I don't know how to do feather-like strokes. I think it looks crazy on me. Try again here. So very pigmented, as you can see. Goes onto skin and brow hair super easily. Backups. Okay. This is the hard part. So I'll show you how I try to measure my brows in a sense. So again, no, Heather, you don't have to give a disclaimer. I have Instagram block brows. Deal with it. I just need to take the time to practice and like follow one of those like feathery brow tutorials. Like I just don't have brows like Desi or Katie. I just don't. I even love the way that Nikki Tutorials does her brows. Like a little bit more intense, but really fun. Okay, so there's the basic brow there, and then I take this brow comb, line it up against my nose to see how much more room I've got compared to the other one because my brows are not even. So I've got a little more to fill in over here, and they're never perfect. And then sometimes the more you fool with it, the worse it gets. And then sometimes you're just like, all right, that's good enough. So right now I'm feeling like that's good enough. Oh, the micro pencil I use is NYX Micro Brow in the taupe shade. Blonde is a little too warm for me. So then we're just gonna spoolie over the front a little bit. I kind of just like try to press it on the front part to not like swipe it away, but to blend it out a little bit. So just do a little tap, tap, tap. Last part of my brow routine is the Benefit Gimme Brow Gel. I have the shade number 1. I really do like this brow gel for a nice tinted option with some fibers. So yeah, you can definitely tell the difference between this one and this one. It has more pigment to it, but I feel like I can also see that it has more definition, more brow hairs. So now we are done with brows, moving on to eyes. For primer, I'll be using the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. This is okay. I like the Urban Decay primer and the Milani better, but I just have a little mini that I got as a freebie that I'm gonna use up. So now that I've got my eye primer on, I'm going to set it. And if you guys saw my Project Pan intro, what was in here? My eyeshadow from Too Faced, Extra Creamy, broke. And I went to repress it. I used too much alcohol, so I actually had to mix the matte cream from my Huda palette in with it. And then I mixed in a little bit of like a beigey cream from Meet Matte Tremoni from the Balm and a little bit of a matte white powder from Illamasqua. So now those are 2 products from my Project Pan mixed into one. So I'm using the shade to set the primer under my brow bone and in my crease. So for the one under my brow bone, I'm using this large shader brush from Wet n Wild. Then taking the Wet n Wild crease brush, blending brush, I can never remember what it's called, from the same collection, and running that right into the crease. I never set the primer on my lid because I always go in with a cream shadow, but I like to brighten under my brow, and then I like to set the crease to make sure that my eyeshadows will blend out nicely. So then taking some Project Pan shadows, I'm going to take this color Champs and use this as my transition shade, applying it with the Morphe Jeffree Star JS5 brush. And this is a really light shade, but it does show up on me, and I do usually do a couple layers. So one thought about these Morphe Jeffree Star brushes, these more white hair brushes, right after I wash them, these are already feeling a little scratchy. Like, they don't hurt, but they just feel like they're a little dried out. The pink haired brushes I don't have any trouble with. And I think I've only washed these like twice. I always do my transition color before I go in and do my lid shade. And one item I decided to throw in at my intro, and I'm really happy I did. This is the Laura Mercier Caviar Stick in the shade Rose Gold. It is broken from the base, so I just have to twist up a little bit, and I'm going to use this as my eye base. I do really love this formula, and this is a really nice color that can go with a lot of different things. Then my main lid shade is the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Caffeine Lights, and I'm going to be applying it with a sponge tip applicator, which is the best way that I can apply my Super Shock shadows once they've dried out like this one has. So I've mentioned this like 100 times, so I apologize for the repeat, but I love this sponge tip applicator because it really picks up the product, and I can really be precise on applying it just on my lid. Then I'm going to go in, do my crease, my outer corner color, and before I apply mascara, I'm going to apply a second with my finger to really pack on the intensity in that shimmer, and that works so well for me. So I'll show you what I mean. So this is getting a little crumbly, so I'm going to make sure I tap off the little crumbly bits. And I might get some fallout, but that's okay. Like, bang. Usually I don't use lid primers or cream shadows with Super Shocks, but when they get dried out, it helps the product to adhere a little bit better. And this is the way that I get Super Shocks. Like, I actually use them up instead of throwing it out because it's dried out. I'm still able to get a lot of good use out of them. Then for my crease color, I am taking Note to Self from the ColourPop Yes Please palette and applying it with my Morphe Jeffree Star JS6 brush. And taking this, starting in the outer corner, working towards the middle part of my crease. So adding a little bit more of Note to Self to the outer part of my crease, really focusing in the hollows. Now I'm going to take this shade GNO for my outer corner color and apply it. All the writing has rubbed off my MAC 286 Duo Fiber Blending Brush, which is amazing. Applying this just in the outer corner, and then taking up whatever's left on the brush to help blend out the edges and a little bit into the middle of the crease. I'm going to take Champs again, and this Morphe M506 brush, which I really love. This is something I never would have picked out, but I won this in a giveaway from Chrissy Kellum a couple years ago. Like, I was one of her first subscribers on her channel because I've been following her on Instagram forever. Her channel has blown up. She does such amazing looks. She's been getting such great PR. I will have her channel linked. You guys need to check her out. But anyway, this brush was in a giveaway that I won, and I love this for taking my transition color and helping to pack it on the inner part of my crease to help the look blend a little easier. And this brush is so perfect for that because it is so small, but it does pack on the color nicely and it helps blend. So it's not like a dramatic difference, but I like it a lot. I will right now so you guys can see the difference. So wow, look at the difference between when you do all the rest of your shadow and then apply a second one with your finger. Like, this looks like full coverage still, it looks metallic, but this is like BAM! So it really does make a difference, and this is the way that I'm able to pan my Super Shocks. Literally the only ones I throw away if they've dried out are the mattes, because I just can't work with that. And I don't love the mattes in general, but the shimmers, nah girl, I will use them up if I like the color. So I'm gonna think on it a little bit more, but I was thinking about taking out the lipstick and just keeping the gloss and then replacing this with a non-tinted lip product. I'm not sure. So the lipstick thing I'm using is the Nude Sticks Nudies Matte Cream for Lips, Eyes, and Cheeks in the shade Naughty and Spice. And like, this is a matte, it's like a comfort matte formula. It's really pigmented, so I don't need as much. I'm not gonna go through it as quick. And oh, I have those little crusties on my lips like James Charles always does. So gross, forgive me. And like, this is a little too much color for what I like in the summer. I like a very easygoing lip, so that's another reason why I might take out the lipstick and just use the gloss. By the time I do my first update, I will have made that decision. So, and I might decide to just pan the gloss and then try the stain a couple times. Oh, so I forgot to mention this is the Pixie Gel Tint and Silk Gloss, and the gloss is in the shade Sweet. And you can see you don't have a ton of product in here. The packaging is very deceiving. It's very thick. And then the other color is Berry Tint. And I don't imagine I would use up a whole lip tint, but that might be what I do. And then I'll just keep this in my collection. I like the color a lot, but this for me would be more of like a easygoing fall lip, or like, it's not that it's dark necessarily, it's just a little bit more pigmented than I like in the summertime. So this is my final look using all of my summer project pan items. I am absolutely loving this makeup routine right now. I am so impressed with the way that all these products are working together. So guys, I really thank you for watching this video. I know it was really long, but I wanted to actually chat with you guys. I haven't done that in a while, so I hope you guys enjoyed seeing, like, this is my current everyday makeup routine. I'll switch out my blush and my eyeshadow products for videos, and I've been trying to switch it up a little bit for work because I've got a lot of new palettes recently, which you guys have already seen in my June haul. I haven't filmed that yet, but I got so many palettes. I have a problem right now, and I want to try them all out to make sure that I like them and want to keep them. You know, that's a good thing about Ulta. You got 2 months to try things out, so that might slow down the progress of my project painting eyeshadows. You can see I haven't hit pan on anything yet. I'm rambling at this point, and this is already long enough. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye.